Frequently when clients call our office, they are hearing on the radio and TV ads that you are going to want to try to avoid probate court. And frequently clients ask, what is probate? Rather than giving you a cookie cutter definition of what probate court is, maybe I'll give you a scenario to help illustrate what probate court does for people. Let's say somebody owns a house, and on the deed to the house, it just says that they are the sole owner of the house. They live a long, full life, and then they pass away. Well, brother steps in to sell the house, and he tries to sell the house with a realtor, and they say, hey, you're not the one authorized to sell it because Bob Smith, your brother, his name is on the deed to the house. And so Brian Smith, the brother, says, well, I'm the one that he wants to sell the house. Well, just because Brian Smith thinks he's the right person to sell the house, that doesn't actually give him legal authorization. And he's going to run into a lot of issues with the title company. So now Brian, the brother, he needs to get legal authorization to transfer that deed to a new buyer. And until he gets that legal stamp of approval from the courts, he will never be able to sell the house. And so what does Brian Smith have to do? He has to now go petition the Superior Court. And at the Superior Court here in Arizona, there's a division called probate. And that probate court is the one that will review and analyze the will, or if there's no will, then the facts surrounding Bob Smith's passing, and ensure that Brian is the right person. This process of assuring that Brian is the right person to be able to sell the house is what we simply put as probate. And that process can take 6 to 12 months, even longer if it's contested, or maybe there was a sister, Jane Smith, who is fighting with Brian about Bob's house. You can now see why the court has to go through this vetting process. So even though most of us say it's ridiculous the court takes so long to go through this process, it actually is understood that they have to vet the process to make sure that Brian is the legally authorized person to sell Bob's house. This process of vetting an appointed representative is the probate process. It can get really sticky. Luckily, there are legal methods and approaches that you can do to avoid probate. And that's why there are estate planners in the world. We try to work with people to avoid that probate process, streamline your estate to where there's no fighting and we aren't waiting around 6, 12 months, 2 years to get the assets where they need to go. Give us a call. We will show you how to avoid that sticky mess of probate.